This is a HeadGum podcast.
And action.
Get at the bed and just get boop.
I think you're on the wrong key.
Oh, all right. What are you, janitor?
Well,
do you have all the keys?
Because the song's gonna be playing.
Stephen Locksmith and Zaragoza?
I just want you to sound as good as you can possibly sound. I don't want you to sound bad. And you know how when you sing a different key than something else and it's going at the same time?
Sometimes it's accidentally harmony. What if that happened?
Wow, shit. Well, then, if that happened, then I will apologize on the next podcast.
Okay.
But we won't know until we listen to it. 13 minutes before we upload it.
Yeah. All great points being made here.
Guys, welcome to Cloverfeels.
You're here and we're here. And
I'm here.
What more could you ask for?
Mike's
really, by
here.
this point. I'm going to say something. I warned you, and I said that I was going to start this off a little sappy. I just came from a stand-up show. I was doing stand-up.
Humble brag.
And I just, not really, it's just kind of reciting events that happened.
You were just saying a factual thing.
If I said I did really well.
You're right, good point.
Which I did.
Good point. You're right, you were literally just stating facts.
Yeah, but then I ruined it just now. I did great. Anyway, I would have given myself applause breaks if I was in the audience.
Oh.
No one else did, but I would have. I just want to say
applause breaks are nice.
That between this podcast and conversations that we've had recently about the audience of this podcast and how awesome and like in touch with us they are and active and doing stand up every night because of other people that we know mutually, I'm in a real good place. And I think this podcast has a lot to do with it. And so I just want to thank everyone who listens and let them know that I'm very thankful for their listening.
Wow, Mike. Very nice. Yeah. Genuinity.
Most of that was completely genuine, if you can imagine that. 87% of that.
We're going to have a game later where we figure out which part of it wasn't genuine. But I like that. That doesn't matter right now. I agree, man. We are in... we started this podcast like 45% as a joke.
Yeah.
And whatever the rest of the math of a percentage there is.
Yeah, 50s. It gets dicey in the middle.
Is how much of it we were serious about it. Because we love Cloverfield and we're both funny boys together as friends. And we wanted to make things together outside of SourceFed. And it was just a perfect opportunity for us to do so. And now we're having a damn blast.
We also want to set the record for the most times we reference the podcast on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's in game.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great point. It's not in game. Well, it is officially not in game at the moment.
It's not in game. Well, no, it's not in game for Cloverfield Lane. But it's in game in our hearts.
Swamp Pop is more in game than we are.
Hey man, my friendship with you is in game for my life. In my life,
your friendship is in heart. Mine.
Your heart is in game to me. We have a lot of stuff to talk about since the last podcast, which seems like forever ago, doesn't it?
It does. I don't know why it seems like that.
I think it's because we recorded the last episode earlier than we normally do with the anticipation that it was going to be a bonus episode.
Sure. The word bonus was thrown out a lot.
Yes, several times. And I think we even said it on Twitter. I won't even say we. I don't want to throw you under the bus.
That's okay.
Said it. I said it because I'm very ambitious with this podcast. And I know you guys love listening to it, which we very much appreciate. And you want to hear it all the time, which is awesome.
I want there to be one or two people who listen to all of them but hate it.
There are people that do that. Most people that comment on YouTube videos hate what they're watching for some reason and can't help but tell you about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But
we're dedication.
It is. It's very dedicated, and thank you guys again for being so dedicated. Wow, I forgot where we were going with that.
You were gonna say dedicated again.
Dedicated. No, I mean,
you're talking about broadening the horizons of the podcast.
Oh, well, look, I am having a lot of fun doing this, and this ARG is getting better and better every day, and you guys are so talented, and you guys are so awesome, and you send us fan mail, and I need to give you your Slusho badge. I have a
Slusho badge?
Remind
From Ryan?
me. Yeah, from Ryan. And
Awesome.
Ryan made one for Owen, too, which I think is so funny.
Nice.
And by the way, very generous on the date of birth for Owen. Completely incorrect. Completely incorrect.
A lot of people don't know that Owen was a Civil War general.
Yeah. Well, we call him a veteran.
The Civil War veteran.
We call him the CV vet.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The C-Dub vet.
C-dubs.
We call him C-Dub V. But no, what a dumb moment we just had.
Horrible bit.
See, guys, not all the bits are fun on this damn show.
You should hang out with us midday. We say mostly unfunny shit.
Don't worry, don't. You gotta sell us right, man.
I don't want to pull back the curtain too much, but that's the stone skinny of it, is that we're not funny the majority of the time.
I'm drinking a Capri Sun real loud.
Drinking out of a bag.
So anyway, having a lot of fun with this podcast, and I hope we get to do it for a while. And there's so much new stuff that's happening in the ARG,
Yeah,
and that we need to talk about. But before we get into like what's going on in the game and such, and before we talk about the latest news from JJ and what's going on with the trailers and the movie and stuff,
first
let's
name
talk about
basis.
some tweets. Questions.
it's never smooth.
No.
It's never good.
I'm gonna start off with some tweets before I get to questions. But I'm actually gonna dig into the Gmail account, to the Cloverfield's Gmail account.
How deep?
Is my love?
No, are you gonna dig?
Oh, I'm gonna get real deep.
Are we talking about seabed nectar depth?
No.
Gotta get it.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to read you guys some tweets first, and then we're going to dig into the Gmail. You guys have been sending a lot of mail.
Cool.
And it's like kind of overwhelming.
Please stop.
Mike, no, don't stop. But Mike, I'm going to give you the password, and you got to jump in there, and you got to
Okay.
help me out, man, because there's a
Sure.
lot of emails in there.
If we're being honest, I forgot that existed.
Um,
And I am being honest.
Thank you. So let me start off by reading some tweets, and then we'll dig into that dang Gmail account. But one tweet here says, there's a tweet from someone named Eon Shine, or Eon Shine, I don't know. But it's a Cloverfield trailer, and he's like, it's a Vine. It's a Vine, and he's watching the Cloverfield trailer, but he's like freaking out. His eyes look all freaked out and ridiculous. It's really funny.
Is he okay?
No.
Oh,
Uh,
we should help him.
Ron Dion, Monk SSBM says, "Are you guys gonna keep it going after release, or end of the game, or after the end of the game?"
I'll tell you right now, I give myself 3 more episodes tops.
Well,
I'm
here's what I will say. I can probably guarantee to you that we will keep this going probably a bit after the movie comes out, so that we can all talk about the movie and all the speculations and stuff like that. And by the way, Mike, we need to plan this out, because we're probably going to see it before a lot of people.
Sure.
Because
Yeah, that
No,
was,
because
that
we're-
was what that
no,
was.
because we're going to go to a midnight showing.
That's
We're going the
still-
night
you're just
before. How is that a
padding the-
humble brag?
you're just padding the
Anyone
humble
can go to a goddamn midnight showing. And
Little Johnny sitting in his room cross-legged in Connecticut can't go to a
in fact,
midnight
actually,
showing.
we're not even going to a midnight showing. We're going to a 7 p.m. showing
Yeah.
the day before the movie comes out.
7 p.m., of course, after 6.
And that's probably earlier than a lot of people. And by the way, Owen and Mike, the movie comes out a couple of days after the U.S. release in some parts of the U.K. and other parts of the world.
Okay.
All right, so cool it. But no matter, even if we did it the day after the movie came out, we should probably still do a version of it for those people who did not get a chance to see it the weekend it opens, or or for those of us, or for those people that listen to the podcast in the UK and they don't want the movie spoiled for them, we should probably do like at least a massive portion of that episode as non-spoiler, and then we should probably do like a completely spoiler-filled portion to end it.
I don't know how that shit works. Let's just name them spoiler and non-spoiler.
Sure, we could post 2. We can do 2 posts.
One
is
ambitious.
Completely. It is ambitious.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what we do, but we will be careful for those of you that don't want the movie spoiled for them and such. But
I might have to see it a couple times depending on how scared I get, because I'll look away.
Well, I'll keep your eyes open.
I don't like that because I immediately picture your fingers on my face, and I hate it.
Listen, Howie Mandel, I'm a clean boy. All right.
I saw Howie Mandel only inches from our collective home.
Are you serious?
Yeah, within the past year.
We'll talk about this later because I don't want anybody finding out where we live.
Hey, listen.
So they don't leave fucking Swamp Pop empty bottles near our home.
In game.
So yes. So for you, Sir Rhonda Young, who asked how long we're going to keep it going, I think we'll probably keep discussions about the movie going after the movie comes out, and then we might go on hiatus until the movie comes out on Blu-ray or something, something like that. I don't know.
It'd be weird to not have at least one episode after the movie comes out. Like all this speculation and like all this talking about the ARG and the stories and the connection possibly between these movies, and then the movie comes out and they never hear from us ever again.
The movie comes out and we don't even review it or anything.
People ask us like when they see us, like, "Holy shit, man! What'd you think of the movie?"
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah,
it was good, man.
It's fun.
Loved it. Yeah, loved it.
It's fun. What'd you think?
That's it. The only way to find out what we want to say about it is to ask us in person.
If you happen to see us in a CVS or a Arby's.
Oh, I wanted to answer really quick the girl that wrote that really awesome song about how she had never seen Cloverfield.
That was one of my favorites.
One of my favorites too. She asked, why is it called Mr. Grumpy Pants, the Cloverfield monster? And honestly, I think it's because back in the old days on the Unfiction forums, we just started calling him that. Like someone, I don't know if it was like one person said it and then it just caught on after that.
Yeah.
But it definitely originated in the Unfiction forums.
I remember a discussion back in, again, the original game where no one knew what it was called. Especially even before Cloverfield, it was just called 11808, I think.
Right, it was.
And no one knew what the monster was called, but they knew that there was a monster. So there was no... Like, Cloverfield was like the 8th version of its name by the time... People were calling it all kinds of different things before the name Cloverfield dropped.
Yeah, they were calling it a movie.
Yeah. Motion picture, they would call them.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the monster itself.
Yeah, there wasn't an official name for it. So people would say the monster, they would say, and then I think that's where Mr. Grumpy Pants came from.
Yeah. You know what sucks about doing a podcast with you?
Yeah.
My go-to fake person name is Steve. And your real person name is Steve.
Yeah.
So I can't be like, oh, we used to call the monster Steve. Because that's...
Yeah, you can't do that.
People will automatically picture you, and that's the
I
last
think it
thing
would be respectful as my friend to choose a different name.
Okay.
At Snugs from Nugs, Nugget took a screen grab of his notes. 13% battery life on his iPhone. Good God, my man.
Oh, boy. Plug it in.
He says, considering her name on the IMDb page is Michelle, I think Mew is Megan. But as she was driving to the bunker, she got in a car crash, and when John Goodman's Face found her, he took her in, but when she woke up, she couldn't remember anything. I don't know why he would just call her Michelle instead of just Megan, but just an idea.
So
you really lost confidence in the end, man.
Yeah, not even.
You really lost confidence.
I'm still going to send this, but I don't believe it.
My thing is like, maybe this isn't that great of a note.
Have you ever been... Is that a symptom
love?
Of a car accident where you forget your name a little bit? Like your name would be Sam instead of Steve?
You could get amnesia or something. You can get a bump on the head and you could forget who you are and who everybody else is.
And then,
that's not out of the realm. That's not impossible.
But the name only changed a little bit. It's not like Samantha became Megan. It's Michelle became Megan.
I think
it's just a little off.
I don't know. Do you understand the intricacies of amnesia?
No.
Like, you think that just if a name is close enough to your name, you're going to figure it out right away that that's not your name?
I think if I started calling myself Mark, I'd be like, wait a minute.
So you understand amnesia to the point where you can say that confidently?
Probably not. I don't understand most things confidently enough to talk about them confidently.
Mackle Kenzie at Thunder Cometh says, Cloverfield's getting me through my day / making me paranoid as shit.
Really helping me relax by really putting me on the edge. Sorry.
There's also people that keep submitting John Goodman's Face songs. Like,
we're gonna have to do another one.
I don't know what to do. Yeah, I guess we'll just have to do another one.
Can't just not. Can't.
But by another one, it's not like, for those of you that have written songs, like, keep writing songs and keep giving us songs. It's like, by another one, we'll feature the ones that we haven't yet.
Yeah.
So, if you want to make more songs, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but
probably
wait until we figure out how to get everybody's stuff into an album on Spotify or something until we start adding more songs and shit. V Films at Danny V94 made a fucking ridiculously funny picture. He said, just completed the ARG. Here's the end cutscene. And it's a photo of John Goodman, and it says, congratulations, you've completed the ARG. And then it's a photo of Mike and I, and Mike looks very happy, and I look shocked. And then John Goodman says, my work here is done, and shoots up into space.
I like it. It won't die. It won't die.
What if the Paramount was using our bit as a way to end their movie?
They stole the bit?
No, it was like they wanted to shock us most of all.
Yeah.
You know how, like, it was a surprise that this 10 Cloverfield Lane movie came out of nowhere?
Yeah.
They want to replicate that feeling with just 2 people in the world by making the end of their movie be about someone saying, my work here is done, and they shoot into space.
Nice.
For those of you that have no idea who the fuck we are, this bit probably makes no sense to you, but Mike and I have a bit of history on SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd, the YouTube channels that we work on. We did a show called Table Talk, and someone maybe post this in the Cloverfields subreddit for people if they want to see it.
Sure. I think it's called Transcend with Mike Falzone.
There you go.
If you want to look it up.
And I asked Mike a question.
A dumb question.
No, it's not a dumb question.
It's a dumb
you know what it is,
question.
man? It's the new friendship test.
Oh, well, that's a dumb friendship test.
No, it's not, because if my friend shot up into space in front of my fucking face in real life,
yeah,
I would never be the same.
I guess it's maybe different now that we're a little closer than we were.
Both Mike and I gave you the same answer.
Yeah. And you've known me for like fucking 12 years, so you're the bigger shithead.
This is the new friendship test. Does that mean we failed? Or
Yes.
Wait a minute. Did we fail, or are we...
You failed. 100%.
I don't know about that.
Because if you care about someone, even in the slightest,
yeah,
you would try to do something to figure out why that person shot up into space.
Or you would try to be calm for them and their loved ones and their family to lessen the blow.
Become them?
No, be calm.
Oh, yeah, no, you can be calm about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying freak the fuck out and be a sniveling idiot.
Well, good, because that's not going to happen.
I'm
clearly.
saying, like, you dedicate a portion of your life to figuring out what happened.
That's a little selfish on
That's
your,
what
on
I
your
would
part.
do for you. I would do it for you. I would do it for a stranger.
No, you know why
Would
I
you?
do it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it because no matter who you told, they wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
For the rest of your life as a crazy person.
See,
but guess
I would
what?
much
but
rather
there's
be
no
logical.
But you don't. If you're a normal person and you have no history of like insane ramblings or coming up or making up shit,
Yeah.
like this is something that like could potentially become a big deal. It's the type of thing that like news sites would.
My life forever just because you shot up into space. I'm from
Listen, if you...
He's making great faraway points.
Listen,
right
you
now.
are in control of how fucked up you want your life to be in that situation because you're in complete control of how much you want people involved in that. Like, you don't have to make it like... Look...
They think you were a quack. They throw you in the fucking loony bin.
This isn't the movie world, Owen. You could make a decision like that and people could just write you off. They're not going to throw you in a fucking loony bin.
What the fuck are we talking
This
about?
isn't a
right
cartoon. All right. Let's get back to our...
Just because we're talking at a table doesn't mean we have to do a table talk type situation.
Yeah, exactly. Danny V94, you keep making funny shit because that was just really funny. Also, Will Cluning at Ziggy Cheeto Dust tweeted at us and said 3 little boys in a fart barrel, and it's a fucking Photoshop image of. This is always really funny to me when people
explaining memes.
Not only that, but when fucking someone photoshops the Cloverfield monster's fucking face onto John Goodman's body, it looks so weird. It's so weird. I like it. That's what it is. It's a still from 10 Cloverfield Lane. The broken arm guy is holding a bottle of Swamp Pop. For some reason, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, it has HUD's face photoshopped on her body with a camera stuck to the side of his face. And John Goodman is opening the barrel, and inside is me, Mike, and in between us is Roseanne.
Do we have all of our faculties? Are we all one?
It's just our heads popping out, like we're in there.
Are we like disassembled bodies is what I'm
It's just our heads.
Just our heads.
It's just our heads popping out.
It's a barrel of heads. That's all right.
No, it's just our heads poking out. Like you can't see the rest of our bodies because our heads are sticking out.
I assume we're okay.
We're fine. Thomas McMenamin at Neely Boy ITK2K18 says,
is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah. This is my 10 Cloverfield Lane theory. It is a snapshot of his notepad. And it says, in the Super Bowl trailer for 10 Cloverfield Lane, when Mew crashes the car and runs, she's wearing something similar to when she sees the light behind the house at the end of the trailer. This makes me believe that the light she's seeing is the one Radio Man 70 is telling Megan about. Like it's a nuclear explosion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool. What if she gets into the wreck? The chronology of the film is she gets into the wreck and then she's like coming out of the rubble. She's disoriented. She's like, I got to get to a hospital or something. And but it doesn't look like she's like limping in that shot. She's like walking up to the house, right?
I don't know.
I think she's walking up to the house with a big light behind it. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like she's limping or anything.
Okay, so you think she's healed by this point?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's after she breaks out of the shelter. I don't know. It's an interesting theory.
How long does a broken leg take to heal?
32 weeks.
So they're in the thing for at least 32 weeks.
I'm going to jump into the emails now. There's some there's a lot of stuff in here, but it's really cool because people have been sending me theories.
My favorite.
They've been sending me theories. Oh, here's something really quick that we need to talk about. Dirk Diggler is this person's email name. I don't know what their Twitter name is, but check out this email he sent us. Hello, Mike and Steve.
Hi.
I am hugely disappointed in the fact that my song wasn't played on the last friggin' episode of the podcast.
Sure.
I was the first person to submit my song.
You don't know that for sure.
I actually even submitted 2. And Steve even retweeted it, saying it was outstanding. And mentioned it by name in the last episode before this one, saying there would be credit where credit is due. But you two little silly boys failed to mention it.
So, hold on. Can I just pause you right there?
Sure, yeah.
So, there's already confirmation that we listened to it and enjoyed it and shared it with a bunch of other people.
But he hates that it wasn't on the podcast.
Right,
He's
not good enough. Okay, keep going.
Not good enough. And I am outmost outraged, he says.
Okay.
I didn't know it had to be on Reddit. I missed that tweet. I am hereby sending you both of the freaking songs again, hoping for retribution.
Play the song. Play the fucking song right now.
There's two.
Play them both simultaneously.
Here we go. This song's called John Goodman's Face. I'm sorry, it's called Lullaby for Monsters.
Okay. Stop the song.
Hang on. That's it. That's all you get. There, we played it.
Play the goddamn darn song.
And start now. Nope. Now.
Legal finger picking.
Go to sleep, my friend. Go to sleep until you wake up again. And tear Manhattan down. Miss your parents, so now you're wearing a frown. Mr. Grumpy Pants.
I like whatever that is.
I believe it's called
Mr.
a xylophone.
I like it.
Mr. Grumpy Pants. Mr. Grumpy Pants. What is John Goodman gonna do? Is it Russia he's worried about, or is it you? At least he seems to stay locked up in his cutesy little bunker, drinking swamp pop. Mr. Goodman's Face. Mr. Goodman's Face. Mr. Goodman's Face. Mr. Goodman's Face.
It's beautiful. It's a great song.
Beautiful. It is a good song. And this next one is called Party at Rob's.
I heard this one.
You did?
I woke up late one afternoon. I went on MySpace to see what's new. I saw this guy that I barely know. I met him once before, you know how it goes. He had this party and I could come. In retrospect, I probably shouldn't have gone. It was a party at Rob's. 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 The music was loud, I really liked it there. There was an open bar, I drank hella beer. There was this guy with a camera stalking a chick. To be honest, he seemed like kind of a dick. There was this girl on the sofa, crashed real hard. I remember thinking, she'll miss the bar. And I was trying to find someone to get into bed when I was interrupted by the Statue of Liberty's head. It was a party at Ross. It was a party at Ross. It was a party at Ross.
Excellent.
Lovely.
Excellent. It's really good.
I'd make some love to that song.
So to give Dirk Diggler a little bit of, to give him a little bit of a pass, he actually ended the email like so. He said that on a more serious note, I was so fucking stoked when you retweeted my song. Making amateur music and getting noticed by a huge podcast with hosts like I've liked since before felt really cool. Thanks for making an awesome show, and please don't stop. English isn't my first language, by the way. I hope everything got through fine. Please play my shitty song. Love, Hampus. So there you go, buddy.
Awesome, Hampus.
Okay, so let's read some theories really quick from the email account. If you guys want to send in theories or tweet us some fun Photoshops or whatever, you can use the hashtag Cloverfeels, or you can send us tweets at Cloverfeels, or you can send us emails at cloverfields@gmail.com.
Or you can paint them on the side of a building and just hope that we see them. Hope that we drive by.
No, don't vandalize. That's probably...
I'm not saying you could ask.
You can ask, but likely they'll say no about that.
Do you mind if I paint a Cloverfield meme on the side of your bed and breakfast?
What does this you say?
Cloverfield
I have a business
meme.
Here, sir, to run.
Yes, it's a beautiful business.
Thank
I want to paint
you buy what
a
do you
meme.
want, sir? You want buy or what do you
I
buy?
buy some paint so I can paint a meme on the side of your bed and
Trying
breakfast.
to paint my wall? Is
I'll
what
do
you say?
hashtag Cloverfields.
I don't know what this is, sir.
It'll be John Goodman's face.
I'm sorry.
and
I
then
have a line. Do you see?
maybe
I'm
sitting
sorry.
on a fart barrel.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't know what this is. I have a line. Do you order or?
I'm just gonna paint it on the wall.
Is this in game? Stupid. What a fucking
good-
stupid. It's so stupid and it's racist.
Why is that racist?
Because I was like a foreign guy.
Yeah, but from where? Where is that voice from?
Someone's offended. There's a trigger
Wait
warning.
a minute, my dad kind of sounds like that.
I have to do a trigger warning for this episode. Okay.
This one's called Probably Racist.
Callum O'Neill says, theory maybe? He says, hi, Michael and Steve. I just wanted to send this email to talk about something you referenced in episode 8. It was regarding the fact that there hasn't been any solid reference or evidence. What's
It's
wrong,
more
buddy?
racist to think that a guy with that voice couldn't own a bed and breakfast.
Why would you say that to me? Why are you saying that to me? Why are you trying to make me feel bad?
Listen, this isn't going to be the thing. I'll tell you right now.
It was regarding the fact that there hasn't been any solid reference or evidence to the Cloverfield monster in the ARG. Yeah, remember? I was talking about that.
I think
was
that's
saying,
a terrific point.
right? Like, what's going on? Why isn't anybody talking about the incident that happened in New York?
I think that's because it's more of a Twilight Zone thing than a Cloverfield.
Well,
monster
we're going to get to that. This person says, maybe this isn't a sequel, but a prequel or a sidequel to the original Cloverfield
What's
movie.
a sidequel?
I
Like
guess
simultaneously with that?
sometimes I take NyQuil when I have a cold.
You didn't want to laugh at that so bad. It felt good, didn't it?
It always feels good. You know what's weird though? Oddly, holding it in is funnier. Do you?
It's not for me because I always do the...
But did you grow up a religious boy?
Yes, I was
So
an
did I.
altar man at one point.
Were you really? Dear
Alderman.
God,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No one kissed me or anything. I was all right.
No, not even girls your age? It's okay. We don't need to talk about it.
Okay,
So
sure.
I went to Catholic school for like 9 years, and so I had to go to church and shit, and church was like the place where it was so hard.
Yes,
To
not
not
laugh.
laugh.
100%.
And my friends and I made a very fun game out of it, like try not to laugh, or you.
Yeah.
I mean, the way you lose the game is you get in trouble. The nuns that were our teachers or whatever would like get really upset and move us. We'd have to sit next to them,
Yes.
and that was always the worst.
We had a similar experience.
So anyway, but this is another podcast, honestly.
Can I just say one thing?
Sure.
While we were making our first communion, my friend Reagan, he kept whispering the word breasticis. And he wouldn't laugh.
That's so
The kid was
good.
a fucking
Wait,
robot.
Really?
Breasticis.
This guy's a legend.
And I would be crying third grade
it's so funny
tears.
to say breasticis during
100%.
communion.
And then he would grab my throat in the front, like pinch it, like you pinch a weenus. And he would say, "That's your esophagus." breasticis."
Wow, you had some funny folks.
And I'd lose my shit.
Uh,
There was another...
okay, wait, I got one too. One time I was sitting in church and me and my buddy Jeff, we were sitting next to each other, and there was this older woman sitting in front of us with like a permed curly hair.
Yeah.
And we kept saying she had Ronald McDonald hair. And so we were trying so hard not to laugh at that shit. I must have been like 6th or 7th grade. And then this was the kicker. He said, what if we were trying to laugh or trying not to laugh and it sounded so loud that she finally turned to shush us and she had fucking Ronald McDonald makeup on? Like the full makeup. Shh. Turns back around.
She shushes like chewed up burger into your face.
Bits of chewed up burger.
Spills her french fries. She's like, enough. Enough.
You be quiet.
Oh my God. Dude, normally there were so many other church stories.
Oh,
And normally
dude, I'm
I'd
telling
be
you-
like, hey, don't show respect, in religious place. There was this one priest that we didn't feel bad about making fun of because later on down the line, he was one of the priests that was moved around from the diocese to diocese because he would have inappropriate relations.
I
So
don't think
looking
that
back,
that's how not treating someone badly works. I
What
think
do you- what?
Because you said we would make fun of him.
we would
because-
feel bad for making fun of him.
Oh, but
during
eventually
Mass.
you didn't feel bad.
Yeah,
because he
we
ended
wish
up being
that
a
we had done
shithead.
it more.
Oh, okay, great. All right.
So there was this one time where he was one of the old school priests that sang, he sang
Oh, yeah,
everything, sang the whole. So
Through
like,
him, we him in him.
yes,
The
100%.
unity of the Holy Spirit.
So this is like confirmation time. So we're older. We're like in high school.
We've
and shit
just
like
lost half of our viewership
But you
because
know
we're
why?
talking about religion right now.
that. Yeah, but it was an experience that we had.
Yeah.
It's
All
all
right,
in
good.
game.
It's our live in game in our lives.
This will be over in a second. Just keep hitting the like forward 15 seconds button. You'll be fine. You'll get over it.
Go ahead.
So he used to sing everything, and we used to try so hard. By that point in high school, like you couldn't not laugh in church. That was the thing. And he would just, my friend Pete would whisper in my ear, "Do you think he sings everything? Do you think he goes home and says what's for dinner? Put another Hot Pocket in the microwave. Let's watch Judge Judy."
That's so fucking good.
You know what? Fuck the fact that it's not about a movie. Those stories are worth it.
It's so
We'll tell them again on
good.
SourceFed anyway.
Dude, did you do you still know these people?
Yes. Yeah.
Are they still as funnier?
They're not doing funny things. They should all be like out here or in New York doing creative funny things, and they don't. But they're all as funny as they ever were.
Wow, that's so great.
Yeah.
When I was that young, I only had one friend and maybe like another that would randomly join in on our weird shit. But like, I only had one friend that was like weird enough to get the like jokes like that and
Yeah.
like for us to have fun like that.
It's not for everyone.
Definitely not. Okay, so let's finish this email here. So this guy was saying that he wanted to talk about how we referenced the fact that the Cloverfield incident and the monster had not been mentioned
Yes.
in the ARG yet. And so the rest of the email says, maybe this isn't a sequel but a prequel or a sidequel to the original Cloverfield movie. If it is, then this might explain why there is no reference to Mr. Grumpy Pants in the current ARG. Just through food for thought. Keep up the fucking great work. And even though this podcast will inevitably die, you two little boys will forever live on in my heart.
That's beautiful. Thank you for listening.
So-
First of all, I don't think it's a prequel because in the ARG they're doing current event things.
Right.
So that wouldn't make any sense.
Great
Great
point.
I don't think it's a side quill because you can use the same argument.
Right.
And we already know
Well,
when
a
the...
sidequel would be like it's taking place at the same time.
Right. But we already know at 11808
Right.
that is not now.
Right.
And then the only hope is for it to be in the future and to have past questions answered, but it's so weird that they haven't referenced the monster.
Well, let's actually use
I
that
didn't
as
mean
a...
to sound so somber when I said that. I'm not sad about it.
Why are you crying then?
Well, it's just
Something else going on you want to talk about?
not right now.
Hey, save it for another podcast, all right? Mm-hmm. Let's use this as a way to segue into the Entertainment Weekly article that came out today, which is actually yesterday for those of you listening to it. We're recording this at 10:30 at night. But here is an article that came up on Entertainment Weekly about 10 Cloverfield Lane that brings to light some interesting things. Some very interesting things.
As articles normally do.
Well, not all of them. So here's how it goes. 10 Cloverfield Lane. J.J. Abrams and his team at Bad Robot outdid themselves when they dropped the 10 Cloverfield Lane trailer on an unsuspecting public in January. This wasn't just a repeat of what they did in 2007 when they made a preview for Cloverfield, because even before even shooting the actual film.
Oh, yeah.
This was a finished movie.
You cough like you hate your throat.
There was in church one time too. There was
Get some Robitussin.
we were all being really quiet, and there's those quiet moments.
I've heard of them.
And during church, there's quiet moments. All right. During church, there's like those little moments where it's like silent, and there would be this guy every fucking time in the back of the church whose cough sounded so strange. It was so strange. It literally sounded like this. Whoa! So we thought that was the funniest shit ever. We'd be sitting in church and be so quiet, and that motherfucker would be back there making that terrible weird cough sound. Which I really hope now is just me from the future going back to fuck with myself in church as a kid.
Yes.
But one time he did that, and my friend said he was turning into a werewolf in church.
A werewolf doing the collection basket?
Okay, so how did they do that? How did they make an entire movie without us knowing what it was? Well, here's some stuff that we already knew, but let's get a little bit of a little more insight into some of these things we already knew. In conjunction with a longer story on the making of 10 Cloverfield Lane appearing in this week's issue of Entertainment Weekly, which it means if you want to get even more in depth, it's going to be in the actual issue of Entertainment Weekly, which I think I'm going to have to pick up because I actually want to read this real bad.
Sure, but it is worth noting that we've gone over the article a couple times. We are not in it, and we're fine with that. It's okay. That Entertainment Weekly doesn't.
I'm a little hurt.
Left out. But that's okay. I just don't want people to go out and pick up the magazine and be like, hey, will you guys sign this magazine when we see you? Because we're not in it.
Whoa! That's my favorite shit ever.
You can't tell me that you're not listening to this podcast, most of you, and being like, this is fine. But
most people are listening to this going like, fuck, this is a real bad episode.
I truly hope they have like 2 episodes left.
They're going to be like, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. It's okay. It's not for everybody. We just said that. We're getting to the good stuff. Don't worry.
I don't get it.
We're on this. We go all over the board on this podcast. Here's a quick breakdown of how Bad Robot pulled off the biggest surprise of the year. Number 1, find the script. Lane began its life as The Cellar, an original screenplay by Josh Campbell and Matthew Stukin that Abrams described as having a very Twilight Zone vibe.
Planting a seed.
The story was wholly original, a very different situation, different characters from anything we've done, he says. But the spirit of it, the genre of it, the heart of it, the fear factor, the comedy factor, the weirdness factor, there were so many elements that felt like the DNA of this story were of the same place that Cloverfield was born out of.
You know what's funny? There was a lot of comedy in Cloverfield.
Yeah. And it
TJ
had
Miller.
heart. In fact, nobody really thinks about this, but when you think about Cloverfield, you think that's a monster movie. And it's about these kids surviving a monster movie, and it's all through the eyes of teenagers, and it's found footage. That's it. But it's actually a love story.
Yeah.
It's about a guy that loves this girl so much.
Enough to do scary shit.
Yeah, nothing can stop him from telling her that he loves her. Yeah. And the story's been told a million times. But
it's a tale as old as time.
it is a song as old as rhyme. But the thing is it is a story we've seen a million times, but is done in such a unique way. When you really break it down, there's even a scene where Rob's brother is talking to Rob outside the window of Rob's apartment, or the place where they were having Rob's party. And it's just before all shit hits the fan. It's just before the tanker explodes.
Right.
And the big fireball comes out. And it's Rob's brother saying, like, sometimes you gotta, like, you can't let anything get in the way of telling someone you love them, or it's something along the lines of that. But it's that actual line that he says that actually is the movie. And it is. It's about a guy that just he will overcome all obstacles and all odds. We've seen it in different forms to find this girl and tell her that he loves her. Yeah. And that's what Cloverfield is about. But it's funny. It's a love story. It's like all this other stuff, and it's a monster movie.
Just one big promposal and monster movie
with a monster. 2, rewrite and create a code name. The project, now called Valencia, still required some developing to make it fit the specifications of the Cloververse, whatever that is. They say in parentheses. That was the only credited one coming from Whiplash writer-director Damien Chazelle. Have you seen Whiplash?
No.
That's a fucking fantastic movie.
And he is what?
The guy that wrote and directed Whiplash was brought in to do rewrites.
What is Whiplash?
What is Whiplash?
Yeah, what's that like?
It's a movie about a boy who's a drummer. Dude, can you stick around? Let's watch it right now.
I got some stuff to do.
Okay, well then you don't want to be my friend, or?
I didn't say that.
No, I mean, this is the first time I've asked you to, like, stick around.
Yeah.
You know, like, we work together, but I've never, like, asked you to do anything.
Yeah, I gotta sleep at some point, and I'd like to do that after this.
I get it. You'll sleep when you're dead, but it's fine.
I didn't eat dinner today either.
You're gonna die soon.
I'm glad I said how grateful I was for everything at the beginning of the podcast.
Everyone will know. But yeah, Whiplash is about a drummer, and he is trying to be the best. And what's the guy's name, Owen?
David Hyde Pierce.
Oh, J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons plays a insane music teacher, and he's very strict, and he's known for being very strict on his students. And the story is about their relationship and how this teacher is like fucking crazy and drives you to the point of madness, trying to teach you how to be like to keep on tempo and be on time and stuff.
Yeah.
Very dramatic, very amazing movie with a great ending.
Cool.
So this guy rewrote this movie. So
Awesome.
What the fuck? That's fucking great. We've known this though. Number 3, hire an up-and-coming director. Dan Trachtenberg burst onto the scene with Portal No Escape, a fan film based on the popular video game series Portal.
And before we get too ahead of ourselves, our best friend Dan Trachtenberg,
Yeah, BFF.
follows us on Twitter, has favorited several things that we've said.
Knows we exist.
Another thing,
That short got Trachtenberg into a lot of rooms, including one at Bad Robot. No Escape led to a number of projects for Trachtenberg, but none got more attention than an adaptation of Brian K. Vaughan's Why the Last Man. That's right, Dan Trachtenberg was attached to direct that movie. And Why the Last Man is a fucking very much beloved graphic novel. That's amazing.
I didn't see that either. I feel like a bad best friend.
It's a graphic novel. It doesn't exist as a movie. It's just a graphic novel.
I didn't see the graphic novel, even if somebody made a movie about it.
There's no movie yet. A mammoth task for any filmmaker, nevertheless, one making his feature debut. But when that project stalled out, Trachtenberg found Valencia. Having made this, I'm so glad I made this first, he says, because you're so much more in control of all the moving parts when it's something of a certain size. Number 4, cast discreetly. Even though the scale of 10 Cloverfield Lane kept the cast small, producers were still cautious about who got to know what. When John Gallagher Jr. auditioned and Skyped with Trachtenberg, he only received a partial script and didn't find out about the Cloververse plans until partway through filming. Maybe this was the idea from the beginning and I was late to the equation, Gallagher says. Number 5, shoot discreetly. During the 36-day shoot in New Orleans, Valencia got the full Bad Robot treatment. Physical scripts were printed on red paper, just like those for Star Wars The Force Awakens, and any digital links were sent with a limited viewing window, after which they'd deactivate. You don't want this getting out, Mary Elizabeth Winstead says. That was very clear to me from the get-go.
Damn.
Number 6, keep details hidden until the last moment. It wouldn't be enough to keep 10 Cloverfield Lane a secret in a time when studio films typically follow a rigidly structured marketing plan. Releasing a film less than 2 months after the world learns of its existence is downright revolutionary. But even on the day of the trailer's release, the film's true identity still wasn't entirely clear to some of those most intimately involved. Winstead learned the final title of the film hours before the trailer drop, only after a call from Trachtenberg. We kept it quiet because we knew we wanted to try something unusual, Abrams says. Something unusual doesn't always work, but at least it's unusual.
That's a great point.
I love that he said that.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because he directed The Force Awakens, the new Star Wars film.
Which didn't really work.
Which anything but unusual. The movie is a paint-by-numbers, safe commercial of a film. Mm-hmm. It's something Disney probably was banking a lot in and required it to be a hit.
Couldn't really take any chances.
Couldn't take any chances, couldn't get weird with it. So it's kind of interesting that J.J. Abrams' next thing after Star Wars is something that's kind of an unusual, refresher.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense. If you're someone like JJ, you're kind of an artist, you're trying new shit. So
what good people do, they take chances. Jean-Claude Van Chances.
So that was one article, and now there's another one that also came out today that talks about what's going on with this Cloverfield thing. Why is there a movie called Cloverfield and now a movie called 10 Cloverfield Lane that isn't necessarily a sequel to Cloverfield? And what is this? Is Cloverfield a reference to something? What does it mean in this universe? Is this a sequel? Is it not? So there's this article on Polygon that says J.J. Abrams hints at a third Cloverfield movie.
Yeah.
Well, did you have a thought?
Yeah.
What is it?
This was something that I read back in the old ARG days when we were trying to figure out. This was right after the trailer and trying to figure out anything about the movie.
Risk.
A Cloverfield. Clovers. I remember reading this. I can't reference where it's from, which kind of pokes holes in the whole thing. But I read that clovers are the first thing that grow after a bombing.
Oh, that's right.
And
that's
the first
right.
movie ended in a bombing.
Yeah.
And John Goodman seems to think that maybe there's some Soviet bombing, Soviet
That's
attack
interesting. That's a
thing.
great way to connect it. Yeah, because it's the visual of a Cloverfield and bombing and all that. That's an interesting way to connect
They
that.
were going to call it, and Dan told me this, Reasons to Bomb Stuff.
DT
called me up on my number that he has, and he was like, they're going to call the whole series Different Reasons to Bomb Stuff. And number 1 is a monster.
I like it.
And number 2 is to see if a bomb shelter works. And number 3 is something else.
I'm kind of bummed they changed it.
That's okay. None of that is real.
Well, in the first film, Cloverfield, we found out that Cloverfield refers to the case name. Mm-hmm. They gave the whole thing. The military found the tape of the movie that we watched, and they call this case Cloverfield.
Right.
That's the name of the whole event, Cloverfield. That's what they call it in the military. But we don't know why it's called Cloverfield outside of that. And some people have been like, well, it's because Bad Robot Studios was on Cloverfield Boulevard in Santa Monica. Mm-hmm. And so that's just something they landed on. And then, or it's the place where they find the video, it was in a Cloverfield. And so that's why the military called it Cloverfield. There's all these different reasons, but we know it as associated with a film about a monster. And so that's all the world really knows about it. Mm-hmm. And most of the world doesn't even know about the ARG and all the ways to link Cloverfield, the title, to other things.
It's just us two.
That's it. And so this article talks about JJ, who recently mentioned that there's already a third film he's thinking about in this Cloverfield series. And this is what he says about it. Or this is what the article says. When J.J. Abrams' production company Bad Robot released the teaser trailer for 10 Cloverfield Lane, people were shocked that a sequel to the 2008 found footage movie had been made. In a new interview with Entertainment Weekly, Abrams has now said that Bad Robot didn't just have plans for a sequel, but also wanted to work on a third movie for the franchise.
Making it a trequel.
A trilogy. There is something else that we'd like to do, and hopefully we'll get that shot, Abrams told the magazine. According to Abrams, the idea is to loosely connect all films in the series instead of making them direct sequels, not unlike The Twilight Zone. Abrams added that there's a larger conceit with the films, but wouldn't go into any details about what that may entail. So
we can't end this fucking podcast.
Ever.
Shit.
It sounds like JJ is planning on turning this into an anthology series.
Yeah.
Some sort of series of films that all deal with paranormal things or monstrous things, or
you know, it'd be
in
really
this
funny?
movie's case, maybe space alien things.
Maybe.
But what he's saying is that there is, so this article and the article before it leads me to believe that we all need to be prepared for the fact that this film may not feature an obvious Cloverfield thing.
Yeah, I also like that you said be prepared.
Why is
along
that?
with all the survival.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it is like
you're in game. Would you tell me if you were in game?
Shh, Mike Falzone. Shh.
Shit. All right, just edit what I said out.
You know, let's prepare ourselves for the possibility that we won't see the Cloverfield monster. There won't be a slusho. There won't be a parasite. There won't be mention of a New York incident. Mm-hmm. It would be a bummer, but let's just prepare ourselves for that, because what we might end up finding out is that the connection is something maybe kind of small that'll reveal itself later on, or maybe it's just JJ's way of just kind of working on a new anthology series. He loves to connect his movies in some way. Slusho shows up everywhere. Greg Grunberg is in everything he makes.
I'd like to think the connection between these three movies would be bigger than randomly seeing Slusho in the background of shit.
I'd like to think so too, especially since they share the same title. But this whole I'm trying something new, let's see if this works thing leads me to believe that he's really just going to try to connect the films with a title and make it like movies about paranormal, monstrous, alien things.
Here's my theory.
Go ahead.
Movie number 1, giant monster out of the sea. Okay?
Right.
Movie number 2, maybe giant alien.
From space.
From the space. First of all, the sea is so big. I don't know if
How
I've said
big,
that in
you
a couple
think?
of, just very big.
I hear it wraps all around.
We'll see. Giant monster. Movie number 2, giant alien. Movie number 3, giant monster and giant alien fall in love.
How about this? Movie number 1, giant monster. Movie number 2, giant alien. Movie number 3, giant man.
Giant good man? His face?
In game.
Pretty good. I like it.
I don't know. I mean, I think we just need to prepare ourselves for the possibility of it just being an anthology series and not being any obvious connections to the monster in Cloverfield, but they're all in the same universe.
Yeah. It's like, how do you explain the Tarugato stuff?
Right. But here's another cool theory someone had online, and I wish I could... Taguato. I wish there was a way for me to credit this person, but someone was talking about how maybe what it is like... they are building up a kaiju Godzilla-like series. Because remember, JJ's original idea for Cloverfield was to have an American Godzilla movie. So someone's theory is maybe we're building up this Godzilla kaiju-esque type universe, and then there will be battles eventually. So maybe this film has a space alien, a giant space alien, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's you see this alien, and you're like, holy fuck, what the fuck is that? And then Clovey jumps in and they start attacking each other, and then the movie ends.
See, that's beautiful.
I would love that.
But why not again, it goes back to why not reference the Mr. Grumpy Pants attack in any of...
Well, just, it's okay. Like, I remember we were just kind of talking about this, and I just felt like, I don't think it would ruin anything if Paramount and Bad Robot were to, like, tease Mr. Grumpy Pants in the ARG in some way.
No.
But I'm not going to hold it against them if they were just trying to keep it vague on purpose.
I get it. I'm just saying it's weird.
It's weird, but I'm not like upset about it.
Yeah,
It doesn't bother
again,
me, and
don't
it won't
disagree
bother
with it.
me unless there's a payoff and there is a Mr. Grumpy Pants. Yeah. But if there isn't, whatever. Let's just prepare ourselves for all possibilities.
See, this is what I'm saying for the third movie. If the alien and the Cloverfield monster have sex and they make an even bigger, scarier thing, that's terrifying.
Sure. I don't think that's a good idea,
Plus,
though.
you have to watch the monsters have sex. Probably.
I won't want to watch that.
You'd have to, especially in IMAX.
A talking pony?
Oh, man.
But the thing is here in this last paragraph, he does say that there's a larger conceit with the films.
I don't know what conceit means, so I can't get excited about it.
I can't define it for you, but I know here it means that there is something connective. There is connective tissue. There's a bigger thing with the Cloverfield series that will kind of like be a part of the three films.
It's the word Cloverfield, and that's it.
No, that's not a large enough conceit.
Okay, well, good.
So anyway, those were the two articles that were released recently that are very interesting, and I would love to read the rest of that Entertainment Weekly article because I'm sure there's some other bits in there, and I'd like to support Entertainment Weekly for doing the work there.
Hell yeah, and just in case we're in it, you know? In case they want.
You're going to have to give up on that.
I mean, just a little shout out.
You're going to have to give up on that, bro.
Say, hey, Mike and Steve, we're watching, we're listening.
While we were, since the last episode, we got a new trailer on the official Facebook page. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I don't think I did see that.
There's not much new in it, but you do get to hear Broken Arm Man talk.
Broken Arm Man is his official name?
In the credits. And Mew asks him, how'd you break your arm?
Oh, right.
Were you trying to get out? And he says, no, I was trying to get in, or something like that. And then something very interesting happened from funandprettythings.com. Some sort of survival simulator game appeared.
Have you played it?
Yeah, and it didn't make sense to me. Okay. Maybe I'm dumb and I didn't give it enough time.
Is it one of those like open yield castle door type games?
Yeah, sort of. It's all text based, and it's like a DOS-esque game where you type in commands and
I had a visceral reaction to that.
I get it. I mean, it's not your shoot 'em ups like today, but it is a game, and it is interesting that John Goodman's character here. In fact, here's the message he left for Megan about the game. Life inside a bunker is going to be a challenge, especially since we may have to stay down there for a few years.
Oh, boy.
That's terrifying.
Machi.
I know, right? It's important to be prepared, not just with supplies and gear, but with the knowledge of what to do once you're down there. It's going to be a different kind of living with no room for mistakes. I made something to help you get ready. It may just feel like a little game, but it contains a lot of important information to help you learn what it'll take to survive. And then there's a link to that survival sim. It's a survival simulator. And he says, I hope you learn quickly from it. Love, Dad. And I guess it's very difficult. There's a lot of like, from what I gathered from it, and I only played it once because I'm a very busy man. Mike and I are very busy people, you should understand. So just in case you're like, what? The guys that do a Cloverfield podcast aren't playing the game that's part of the ARG?
Very good point. Not going to say it's not a good point.
It's a great point, but we're busy guys.
Very
it's tough.
busy.
It's very tough for us to be able to put time into this.
Still, great point, though.
But I tried. Thank you for proving my point about how bad of a podcast host we are. But I did play once, and I think the gist of it is you kind of set up a living scenario in an underground bunker, and you get to select like food rations and like supplies, and you kind of divvy things amongst survivors amongst there, and then you get to like pick an amount of survivors you have in your bunker, and then you basically hit go, and then it just goes, and then you get to see what happens. Either they quickly die, and it's kind of like the game, the object of the game is to keep your survivors survive. No, not take your frog through the freeway,
Highway, the intersection.
No, it's to see how long you can survive, how many days and weeks or what have you. And there's a leaderboard, and on the leaderboard you can put your name down. Some people have been fucking crazy in there.
So the right combination of people and supplies and shit like that. It's like you want to dial the right combination.
Yeah, it's like you want to. It's not like there's a right way to do it every time. It's almost like the Oregon Trail. Did you ever play the Oregon Trail?
Several times.
So it's like that. You had to like divvy up your rations, and you had to be very careful and like kind of like
Kill
plan
buffalo
your
and
shit
shit.
up. It's a different game every time, sort of, because it's like, you know.
Can you get dysentery in this one?
I don't know, but I think you can get sick.
Okay.
But the leaderboard is interesting because the top one, I actually don't know what the top people are right now.
It should be Radio Man 70.
But
that makes sense.
There are names like Velvet Devil, who apparently survived 738 days and 15 hours.
Congratulations.
And there's even a radio girl up on the leaderboard.
Oh, shit.
And check this out. This is cool, too. Radio Man 70's up there.
Good.
So is Teddy. Someone named Teddy.
No way.
Yeah. I don't know if that's just fans putting that in there or... I don't know. But it's pretty cool, huh?
What's Teddy's score? 118.08?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
dude,
bro.
can you imagine?
Yeah, bro. Let's go to the beach. Come on, bro. You need to watch those hard bodies getting in the sun.
Cook up some hard bodies, dude.
So, but also apparently on Reddit, people were like taking the game apart and hacking the game and trying to figure out how it works. And I guess they were getting down to a point where it was like you're going past the game, the ARG a bit, and you're game jacking sort of. And
See, that's the thing with like hiding shit in codes.
I know you're
It's
going to
not
get
for
people digging
everyone.
through there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're right. They kind of like promoted that behavior because they did have stuff where you had to like
But
break
you try
apart
stuff
code and shit.
Stuff doesn't work sometimes.
Yeah,
He
so I
said it
guess
himself.
these people went a little too far, and they Reddit hackers found a way to exploit the score, and it would allow them to send in fake scores and messages. So it like that's been fixed, and then after the game had been up for a little while, and then you saw that there was a radio girl in the leaderboard. John Goodman's character posted this.
Who the fuck are all these other people playing my game?
Radio girl, you're there. I can see that you're using the simulator. I was beginning to worry that you really hadn't seen any of my messages, which is great because now we have the idea that she's seeing these messages.
Oh, as soon as there's a game involved, a little kid wants to play?
I know, right? But now that I know you're listening, I'm not going to rest until I know you're prepared. I know that you're seeing some weird results in the simulator. Maybe this is something to do with the people hacking it. I may have to take it offline if I can't fix it, but I hope it doesn't come to that. Oh, so maybe that's a warning to people that are fucking with it, that they're going to take the game away if you keep fucking with it.
Yeah, like a cute little warning.
That's like the people behind the ARG going like, hey, we're going to take the game away.
Stop with
There's
the code shit.
Yeah. There's no time to waste, and the simulator is going to teach you something really important.
Please stop fucking with it.
So that's where we are with the ARG, except now there was a new thing that came up literally today, which is yesterday for you guys listening. There's a life-preserving information page update. You know how there's like different pages?
Sure.
On the thing where you click here for all the things and it shows you a bug-out bag and shit like that.
Yeah.
Well, in there's an update to the life-preserving information, and it says, I can see you're still using the sim, Megan, and I know you can do better. I've gone through and made some changes based on my latest findings. For instance, being on your own down there won't be so easy in reality. So now it's not so easy in the sim either. It's now a better test of your preparation approach and should make you think twice about trying to go it alone. We're looking at 2 years at minimum, and it'll probably even longer. Along those lines, a tip. Morale may seem to be less important than hard supplies, but it's not. Trust me, I know. Keep trying and don't let me down. Love, Dad. And Dennis says in the article from Cloverfield Clues, there was a new update. The latest entry suggests that Howard has made some changes to the survival simulation game to make it harder to play with only one player. Maybe the key to winning, if that's even possible, requires 2 people in the bunker, and they need to survive at least 2 years. Obfuscate from Unfiction has a great summary of the rules and tips for making your supplies last. He is working on an ideal list of supplies. Once that is available, we'll post it for everyone so you can work on breaking the 2-player mark. I'm sorry, work on breaking the 2-year mark. So that's it. That's where we're at.
Good. All caught up.
The game's cool. I'm going to get back in there and check it out. It looks like now we have sort of more of a goal. You can try to survive with 2 people for 2 years. And morale is important, and I think that's an option there. It's going to show us
something at some point.
Yeah, maybe it'll show us something, the next clue in the ARG. But guys, we're coming down to the wire. It's February 25th.
Also, you were right the whole time
about
Fun and Pretty Things. That it was just meant to be like
for us to observe
correspondence.
Yeah, thank you. You're right. I guess you're right.
Credit where credit is due.
I appreciate that.
I quit.
But also, actually, here's something important we need to mention too. The article that we read about how they came up with 10 Cloverfield Lane sort of proves that they kind of. It's true that the Cloverfield aspect was an afterthought to this original script, but it still seems like it wasn't too late in production when they decided to make it a Cloverfield thing.
Yeah. So
that's cool. We officially now have sort of a timeline for when they decided to make this a Cloverfield movie, and it sounds like they had a better idea.
It's also on purpose. It's not like a last minute.
Yeah, now it's on purpose. Yeah, it feels like from the rewrites it must have been on purpose, which is great. So, there we are, guys. We're all caught up. Mike, feeling good?
I'm fine. A little hungry.
Yeah, you hungry? Well,
anymore.
Listen, I'll give you some snacks on your way out. Guys, thank you so much for listening to 10 Cloverfield Lane's Cloverfields podcast.
Good. This is perfect. In the comments below, do I have a big head, do you think?
Also, are we tired? Is it 10:53 p.m.?
We gotta leave.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to Cloverfields. If you want to send us some corrections or comments or theories or what have you, you can use the hashtag Cloverfields on Twitter, or you can tweet directly at us at Cloverfields. And we also have a Gmail account. It's cloverfields@gmail.com. So send us whatever you want, and hopefully we'll get to it and read it. And as far as the John Goodman's Face songs go, I'd say maybe hold off for now until we figure out something to do with it. And also, if you guys have an idea on what we should do with all this Cloverfields, John Goodman's Face stuff, let us know in email or on Twitter, and maybe that's the route we'll go with it. And also, I want to leave you guys with something kind of interesting. We have kind of a big announcement to make soon.
Okay.
I can't say really anything about it.
Is it a pregnant thing?
No. No, it definitely is not.
Okay.
This is about the movie.
Oh.
And it's about 10 Cloverfield Lane, and we have a big announcement to make. So stay tuned, and you guys will hear about it first when we have more information.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm doing it. We're in the movie.
Stop it, Mike.
You can go and
Don't
you can
ruin
look,
it.
and we're rich.
Are you a ruiner?
No, I'm not a ruiner.
Hey, man, look at me.
I don't
want
it.
Man.
I don't want it.
No, come on.
I don't want to be a ruiner.
Then start acting like a not ruiner. Then start acting like a doer.
Did I start a podcast with a fucking ruiner?
I don't want to work with a ruiner. So, guys, thank you so much for listening, and thank you, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
Menacing music.
That was a HeadGum podcast.